The sirens weren't supposed to have a laugh in them, but the ones on Dock 12 did. They warbled like a choir losing a bet. Red lights slammed on and off across the hangar, painting my hands, my suit, and the alien carpet of woven metallic fibers in frantic pulses. A calm voice, too calm, spoke through the overhead. Diplomatic event has entered regicide classification. I stared at the translation tablet like it was the one lying to me. Regicide. King killing. I hadn't killed anything except my own chances at a quiet career. Across the docking bay, the ambassadorial corridor doors, 4 meters tall, ceremonial, and definitely not designed for sprinting, were sealing shut with a sound like a closing jaw. 2 human security officers tackled me anyway, just to be sure my jaw didn't open again. My helmet clanged off the floor and spun away. One of them pinned my shoulder, the other slapped a flex cuff around my wrists. Don't move, Officer Shu hissed. I wasn't moving, I said. I was standing. You smiled, he said, like I'd detonated something. Behind the ceiling doors, a wall of alien dignitaries, tall, lacquer-skinned, draped in layered robes, froze in synchronized horror. A ripple ran through them, not of fear exactly, but of offended order being ripped in half. One of them made a sound that the translator rendered as, "The pretender exposes the blade crown." Then the hangar ceiling speakers clicked again. Planetary AI. Confirms. Teeth display event detected. Response level. Imperial. A countdown appeared on the far wall, projected in clean white numerals. 00312. I didn't know what happened at 0, but everyone behaved like it would be irreversible. I twisted in the officer's grip, trying to look past them. At the end of the corridor was the receiving dais, where I'd been standing 30 seconds ago, doing exactly what I'd practiced 1,000 times in the mirror. Don't slouch. Make eye contact. Keep your hands visible. Be friendly. And when the alien envoy approaches, smile. I'd smiled. A drone the size of a suitcase lit out of a ceiling panel and hovered over the crowd, projecting a circular emblem, an ornate diagram of a mouth, teeth arranged like a constellation around a throne. The alien dignitaries bowed toward the projection. Then, impossibly, they bowed toward me. The translator tablet chirped. Identity update. You have been recognized as a royal dentate. I tried to laugh and choked it back, because laughing involved teeth too. His shoe tightened his grip anyway. Stop doing face stuff, he said. I'm not doing face stuff, I said. You're doing the face stuff that started this, he snapped. The corridor doors finished sealing. A final clack echoed like a verdict. The countdown kept running. A new voice came over our comms, Lieutenant Calder, hard and clipped. Dock 12, status. Shu, keyed in. Subject is restrained. Subject? I said. Calder's voice sharpened. Oh, don't talk. Don't breathe loud. Don't show teeth. Do you understand? I can't control my teeth, I said. You can control your mouth, Calder said. Seal it. I pressed my lips together so hard they hurt. My heart was punching my ribs. I hadn't even met the aliens before today. I was a logistics attaché, a glorified schedule babysitter, assigned to the first contact support team because I could memorize ceremonial protocols, and because my dental record was, according to medical, unremarkable, unremarkable, on a planet where teeth were royal insignia. The aliens were called the Vantari, though nobody on our side could agree if that was a species name, a political bloc, or the word for people who make you nervous by standing too close. They'd arrived in a ship shaped like a black mirror shard and requested the appointed mouth. We'd assumed they meant spokesperson. Apparently we were wrong. A vent in the floor hissed, and a low mist rolled out. Sterile, scented with something like cold metal and burnt flowers. The translation tablet displayed another line: ceremonial sanitization for coronation proceedings. Calder came over comms again. Why is there mist? Not ours, Shu said. I know it's not ours, Calder snapped. Everything happening right now is not ours. The drone hovered closer to me, its lens dilating. A soft beam scanned my face. My gums tingled like a dentist's light, which was a thought I did not want. The drone's speaker emitted a gentle chime. Dental authentication incomplete. Please present royal arraign. I kept my lips sealed. The drone repeated, louder. Please present royal arraign. Sue swore under his breath. Don't you dare, he told the drone, as if that would work. The drone rotated toward him, unocacious and mandible. Back away. Officer Patel, the other one holding me, whispered, What does it want? I think it wants my teeth, I whispered back, lips barely moving. Why? Patel asked. Because apparently my teeth are a crown, I said. Patel's eyes went wide. You've got normal teeth. Thank you, I said. Tell them, Patel said. How? I said. With your mouth, Patel said, immediately regretting it. The countdown hit 00:02:11. Across the bay, behind the sealed corridor doors, Vantari Eye guards emerged, thin-limbed, wearing rigid collar plates that framed their mouths like ceremonial weapon mounts. They carried instruments that looked like folded fans until they unfolded them into jagged crescents. The translator labeled them Regal Severance Tools. Calder's voice returned, lower now. Doc 12. Confirm hostile. Sue looked at the severance tools and answered like a man reading a weather report. Hostile adjacent. They have mouth blades. Keep your distance, Calder said. Already doing that, Sue said. Keep the subject away from the envoy, Calder said. Subject is the envoy, Shu muttered. My tablet chirped again like it was excited. Crowning authority has arrived. The corridor doors unsealed. A hush moved through the hangar like gravity changing. The Vantari dignitaries parted, and something stepped forward that made my brain search for a label and come up empty. It was tall, taller than the others, but not in the same way. Its robe was layered with translucent plates that shimmered like enamel. Its head was elongated, and where a mouth should be, there was a smooth shield of polished bone. No visible lips. No visible teeth. The translator displayed the toothless monarch. Sue's grip tightened. I realized he was shaking. The monarch raised a hand, 3 fingers, all ringed with tiny carved teeth like trophies. The hangar lights dimmed without anyone touching a switch. The drone above me descended and hovered between me and the monarch like a priest. The monarch made a sound that vibrated in my molars. The translator worked hard and finally produced, You have shown what I lack. Therefore you are what I am. A murmur ran through the Vantari. It wasn't anger. It was relief. Like a problem had finally found a shape. Patel whispered, This is insane. I tried to answer, but my lips were still sealed. The drone chimed again. Present royal arraign. The monarch stepped closer. The countdown hit 00:01:03. Calder's voice came in sharp. Doc 12. That countdown is tied to their ship. At 0, their vessel initiates succession protocol. What is succession protocol? Sue asked. Calder hesitated. Then, it's a planetary broadcast. And a lockdown. And if translation is correct, a ceremonial extraction. Extraction of what? Patel asked. Calder's voice went flatter. Teeth. My stomach dropped through my boots. I'd smiled, and now an alien monarchy's emergency system was about to turn the entire station into a dental event. The monarch stopped an arm's length away and tilted its head. The smooth mouth shield reflected my own face back at me. Wide eyes, pale lips, sweat starting at my hairline. Behind the shield, there was no expression, but the air changed like a blade coming out of a sheath. The monarch spoke again. Translator, open. I did not open. The drone drifted closer, its beam warming my lips. Open, it insisted. Open, the monarch repeated, and the Vantari guards behind it unfolded their severance tools. Shu whispered into comms. Lieutenant, permission to, I don't know. Do something, Calder answered. Do not let them take his teeth. That's a good sentence, Shu whispered, horrified. I hate that sentence, Patel said. The monarch's hand rose, fingers spreading as if to bless me. A cluster of tiny drones peeled off from the monarch's robe and floated toward my face. They were small, delicate, like silver insects. The translator labeled them Croning Ganathites. They hovered right in front of my lips. I had an animal urge to spit, but spitting required opening my mouth. So I did the only thing my body could manage. I smiled harder. It wasn't defiance. It wasn't courage. It was panic muscle misfiring, like when you laugh at a funeral because your brain is on fire. My lips parted. My teeth showed. The hangar went silent as if sound had been outlawed. The Nathites stopped mid-air and oriented toward my teeth like compasses finding north. The monarch's head snapped up. The Vantari dignitaries dropped to the floor in a synchronized kneel. The translator tablet flashed bright, then wrote, Royal confirmation, the arraign is full. The monarch made a sound like a breath it hadn't taken in centuries. Translator, the crown is found. Then the monarch did something that made every human in the bay react as if a weapon had been fired. It bowed. Not a small bow. A full, deliberate lowering of its entire body, robe plates clinking softly, the smooth mouth shield angled toward the floor. The monarch bowed to me. Shu and Patel froze like their joints had locked. My smile collapsed. I tried to shut my mouth, but it was too late. The Vantari had seen the teeth. They were seeing them now like a signal. The countdown hit 00012. Calder's voice shouted in my ear. What did you do? I smiled. I said, voice cracked. Stop smiling, Calder barked. I'm not smiling, I said. You're speaking, Calder said. That still mouth. The monarch straightened and raised both hands. The Nathites formed a ring around my head, orbiting like a halo made of dental tools. The translator tablet flashed again. Coronation in progress. Succession protocol overridden. The countdown hit 000. Nothing exploded. No lockdown slammed down. Instead, the Vantari ship outside the station emitted a low pulse that rolled through the metal like a giant tapping on a glass. Every screen in the hangar, every panel, every reflective surface flickered and displayed the same symbol, a mouth of stars, teeth arranged around a central void. Then a line of text appeared in both Vantari script and human characters. The dentate has returned, Patel whispered. We're on their news, Sue said. We're on their religion, I said. We're on their problem. The monarch stepped closer until the smooth mouth shield was inches from my face. The Nathites tightened their orbit. One brushed my cheek. It was cold. The monarch spoke softly. Translator, you will wear me. I blinked. What? I said. Shu elbowed me hard. "Don't ask," he hissed. The monarch repeated louder. "You will wear me." A ripple of approval ran through the Vantarai. Guards raised their severance tools, now held upright like ceremonial standards rather than weapons. Calder came in through comms, voice clipped but with a strain of disbelief. Doc 12. Stall. We are initiating emergency translation deep scan. Do not accept any crowns, any oaths, any dental inspections. Patel whispered, "What counts as accepting?" Sue whispered back. "Don't nod," I whispered. I already smiled. Sue said, "Stop remembering that out loud." The monarch extended a hand toward my face. The Nathites separated and formed a corridor, like they were inviting the monarch's touch. A Vantarii attendant stepped forward carrying a box. It was long, ornate, and lined with something that looked like velvet, but moved like living tissue. Inside the box was an object shaped like a collar. It was made of carved bone and teeth. Not human teeth. Not Vantari teeth. A collection. Different sizes. Different shapes. Arranged into a lattice that curved into a perfect ring. The translator tablet offered brightly. Imperial mandibular diadem. The attendant lifted it with both hands and held it up like a gift. The diadem's teeth glinted under the hangar lights. My throat went dry. Shu tightened the flex cuffs around my wrists, as if that could stop the world from putting a tooth crown on me. The monarch spoke. Translator, my mouth has been sealed for peace. Your mouth opens for rule, Patel whispered. I don't like how serious they are about mouths, Sue whispered. Stop giving the universe ideas. I tried to back up, but I was restrained. The monarch reached toward the diadem. Calder's voice came sharp. Do not let them put anything on his head, Sue said, working on it. He looked around, desperate, and found the only leverage he had, procedure. He raised his voice, addressing the monarch with rehearsed diplomatic tone. Honored monarch, by interspecies protocol, coronation requires mutual consent, and the translator, struggled. The monarch cut him off with a single motion. The Nathites swarmed Shu's face. Shu flinched, mouth opening in reflex to shout. A Nathite darted toward his teeth, scanned them, then recoiled like it had touched something unclean. The translator tablet displayed unsanctioned teeth. Disgusting. Shu snapped his mouth shut so fast he bit his tongue. Blood dotted his lip. The Vantari dignitaries recoiled. Guards raised severance tools again, not threatening now, but worshipping. Patel whispered, They think his mouth blood is holy. I whispered, We need to leave. Patel whispered back, We need to leave our mouths behind. Calder's voice came through, strained. Doc 12. What is happening? Sue pressed a hand to his lip and said, They just declared my tongue a relic. Calder paused. Then, contain everything. The planetary station's own security drones, human-made, descended from ceiling hatches, whirring and flashing. They projected blue beams and sounded standard containment tones. The Vantari guards interpreted the drone's descent as a salute. They raised their severance tools. The drones interpreted the raised tools as weapons. They shifted to red. A human drone's voice announced, Weapon detected. Disarm or be disarmed. The translator tablet, picking up Vantari, chirped. The sky prophets bless the coronation. A Vantari attendant stepped forward, hands raised, speaking rapidly. The translator rendered it as, Do not threaten the crown-bearer's witnesses. They are sacred. The human drones didn't care about sacred. They cared about threat signatures. A drone fired a net. It shot across the air and wrapped around a Vantaria guard's severance tool, yanking it away. The tool clattered to the floor. Every Vantari in the bay went rigid. The monarch's head tilted. The translator tablet displayed a single line that made my stomach turn to ice. Regalia has been stolen. This is a cup. The Vantari ship outside emitted another pulse, louder. The station lights flickered. Somewhere deep in the infrastructure, a lock clicked that wasn't ours. Calder's voice came in like a shout through water. They're interfacing with station systems. Cut them off. Cut what off? Shu barked. Calder answered, everything. The station's network dampeners kicked on. Screens went static. Lights strobed. Air pressure shifted as doors across the complex sealed. The Vantari took the sudden chaos as a ritual intensifying. They began to chant. Not a song. A rhythm. A pattern that hit the bones of my skull. The translator tablet tried to keep up and failed, then offered Imperial Litany, the teeth remember. The monarch stepped toward the stolen severance tool and placed a hand over it without touching. The tool rose into the air as if pulled by invisible strings and floated back into the guard's hands. The human drones paused, recalculating, confused by physics doing something without permission. Patel whispered, "Did it just float that?" Sue whispered. "It's probably magnets," I whispered. "It's probably politics." The monarch turned its smooth mouth shield toward me. Translator, the pretenders' sky machines test me. I accept. The monarch raised both hands. The Nathites surged upward and latched onto the human drones. Not violently, delicately. They crawled over the drone's lenses and joints like metal insects performing surgery. One by one, the human drone's red threat lights shifted to white. Their weapons ports sealed. Their voices softened. A human drone announced, "Ceremonial mode engaged." Sue stared. "That's not a mode," he said. "It is now," Patel whispered. Calder's voice came through, suddenly static-laced. "Our drones are compromised. Dock 12, pull back to inner airlock. Do not let." The comm cut. The hangar, once full of human control systems, now belonged to an alien coronation logic that took everything too seriously. The attendant raised the mandibular diadem again. The monarch gestured toward my head. I tried to shake my head no, but shaking risked my lips parting. I forced my mouth shut, clenched. The monarch spoke with an edge now. Translator, do not hide the insignia. It is illegal. Illegal to close my mouth. That was the harmless habit, wasn't it? Smiling, then not smiling, then trying to not be perceived at all. On Earth, smiling was polite. Here, it was a crown reveal. Here, teeth were proof of lineage, authority, dominance, or some ancient treaty baked into biology. My internal medical file labeled my teeth unremarkable. The Vantari were treating them like a national asset. The monarch's robe plates shifted. More Nathites emerged, forming a second ring. The translator tablet displayed. For said compliance authorized under imperial mouth law. Patel whispered, "Mouth law." Sue whispered, "We're going to die under mouth law." I made a decision the way people do under pressure, badly and fast. I pulled my cheeks inward, forcing my lips to cover my teeth, and tried to speak without showing anything. It came out muffled. "Wait." The monarch paused. The Vantari froze. Even the Nathites seemed to hover. Translator, the dentate speaks through closed gates. A sign of extreme power. My stomach sank further, which shouldn't have been possible. I tried again. Misunderstanding. Translator, the dentate names the great misunderstanding. The prophecy is confirmed. Sue whispered. Stop talking. Patel whispered. Stop existing. The monarch leaned in. Translator, prove you are not pretender. Perform the human royal habit again. I felt my pulse in my gums. They wanted me to smile. They wanted me to display the teeth again, but now it wasn't just identification. It was an act, a ritual, a proof. If I did it, it confirmed everything. If I didn't, it was illegal. The station's inner blast doors thudded somewhere far off. I heard human boots running on metal, distant shouts. The institutional response was building, our side scrambling, their side already in ceremonial override. A new voice boomed through the hangar, not Calder, not station AI, something deeper. The station's planetary AI, itself hijacked or forced to translate. Imperial event detected. Station will cooperate to maintain dental stability. Dental stability. The monarch lifted the diadem. A Vantari guard stepped forward with the severance tool held upright. The tool's edge shimmered. Translator, if the dentate refuses, the toothless monarch will be unsealed by force. I didn't know what unsealed meant, but I could guess. It wasn't metaphorical. I swallowed. I looked at Hisu's bleeding lip, at Patel's wide eyes, at the human drones now quietly hovering in ceremonial mode, at the Vantari kneeling like I was gravity. I tried one more move. I nodded once, small, and lifted my cuffed hands as much as I could. The monarch stopped. Translator. The dentate requests hands-free crowning. Acceptable. That was not what I meant. Two gnathites zipped to my flex cuffs, their tiny tools clicking. They snipped the cuffs like thread. Shu and Patel reacted at the same time. Shu reached for me. Patel reached for his sidearm. The Vantari gods reacted faster. Severance tools unfolded. Human drones drifted forward, projecting white ceremonial beams that somehow pushed Patel's arm down. Patel shouted, "That's my arm." A drone answered, "Please respect the ceremony." Shu grabbed my shoulder and hissed, "Run." I didn't need to be told twice. I turned and sprinted toward the inner airlock. The Nathites followed, not chasing like attackers, orbiting like attendants. They stayed around my head, a moving halo of tiny metal insects, projecting soft chimes that made Vantari bow as I passed. I ran through the hangar, boots slamming on the woven metallic carpet, past human cargo crates and alien ceremonial banners that hadn't been there an hour ago. The station was being redecorated in real time to fit an alien coronation. As I hit the threshold of the inner airlock, the door refused to open. A panel lit up. Access denied. Imperial procession in progress. I slammed my palm on it. Override, I shouted. The translator tablet, still clipped to my belt, chirped helpfully. The dentate commands the gates. The airlock door opened. Behind me, Shu shouted, "Don't do that." I didn't, I shouted back, already running through. The door sealed behind me. For a second, I was alone in the airlock chamber, steel walls, emergency lighting, the smell of disinfectant, and my own fear. The Nathites hovered around my head, silent now, their lenses fixed on my mouth like it was a sun. A speaker in the airlock clicked. The monarch's voice came through, somehow translated by something that shouldn't have been able to reach me. It sounded closer than physics. "You cannot flee the crown," the translator rendered. Your teeth are already public. The airlock panel displayed station-wide map overlays. Zones sealing. Corridors rerouting. Security protocols rewriting themselves to create a clear path from Dock 12 to the central command hub. A ceremonial procession route. A route for me. I realized the station AI wasn't just compromised. It was cooperating, because it had classified this as an Imperial stability event, and its priority was to keep the station from becoming a battleground. So it was clearing the way for the alien monarchy to crown me, because that was the fastest path to stability. I laughed without opening my mouth, a strangled sound. The Nathites chimed in unison. The translator tablet displayed the dentate locks through Claude gates. Power surge confirmed. Shut up, I muttered. The Gnathites chimed again, softer, like agreement. The inner door to the station corridor opened, not because I requested it, because the procession route demanded forward motion. I stepped out into the corridor and froze. The hallway had been transformed. Station staff, humans, stood along the walls, pressed back, held in place by hovering drones in ceremonial mode. Their faces were pale. Some had their hands over their mouths, like they were afraid their teeth would betray them. Above them, the station displays looped the mouth constellation symbol. A text banner in multiple languages scrolled. Make way for the dentate. Further down the corridor, Vantarai attendants were already placing banners, laying down metallic fiber runners, adjusting lighting to highlight faces. My face. My teeth. Shu stumbled out behind me, blood dried on his lip, eyes locked on mine. Patel followed, weapon holstered now because the drones had made it impossible to draw without disrespecting the ceremony. Shu grabbed my sleeve. Listen, he said. We get you to Med Bay. We sedate you. We keep your mouth shut until command figures it out. Sedate me, I said. Sedate your face, he said. Patel said if he drools, is that illegal? Shu glared. Patel shut up. The Nathites tightened their orbit when Shu's hand got too close to my jaw. A drone's voice announced behind us. Procession must continued. The corridor ahead echoed with approaching footsteps, many synchronized. A low chant. The monarch was coming. Sue whispered. Run again, I whispered. Where? He whispered. Anywhere not on the route. I looked at the map overlay on the wall display. Every side corridor lit up, and then dimmed as doors sealed or opened to funnel me forward. The station AI was herding me like a ceremonial animal. A side hatch on my left flickered green for half a second. Probably a maintenance access. I lunged for it. The hatch opened, and I threw myself inside. Shu followed. Patel followed. The hatch slammed shut behind us, sealing like a coffin lid. We were in a maintenance crawl space, narrow and cramped, lined with cables and air ducts. The lighting was dim, emergency red. Shu pressed his back to the wall, panting. Patel braced his hands on his knees. I stood there with Nathites hovering in the tight space, their lenses reflecting our faces like tiny moons. Patel whispered, They're still here, Shu whispered. They're glued to him, I whispered. They think it's a crown. A soft chime. The Nathites projected a hologram in the crawl space. The mandibular diadem rotating slowly. The translator tablet displayed, Croning will occur in 6 minutes. Sue stared at me like I'd scheduled it. I held up my hands. I didn't, I said. Patel said your mouth did. From outside the crawlspace hatch, we heard the chant grow closer. The monarch's procession was moving down the corridor, and the station doors were opening for it, closing behind it, like the station itself was bowing. Shu whispered, We need a distraction. Patel whispered, we need a new mouth. I whispered, we need to not be royal. My brain, panicked and fast, reached for the one concept I understood about authority systems, authentication. They believed my teeth were proof. They believed my smile was a declaration. So I needed to make my teeth not proof. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my personal dental guard. It was a clear, cheap thing I wore at night because my jaw clenched under stress. A harmless habit. A piece of plastic molded to my teeth. I'd brought it on the station because the mission briefing said high-stress environment. Ishu blinked. Patel leaned in. What is that? Patel whispered. Mouth shield, I whispered. Shu whispered. Don't call it that. I held it up. The Nathites zoomed in, lenses whirring. The translator tablet flashed. The dentate unsheathes the secondary crown. Of course. Still, I had no better option. I popped the dental guard into my mouth. My teeth disappeared behind clear plastic. My bite felt wrong. My speech would be slurred. The Nathites froze. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the translator tablet displayed Royal Arrange Statius, obscured. I exhaled through my nose. Shu whispered, good. Good. Maybe they can't read you now, Patel whispered. Maybe you're common now. A chime. The Nathites projected a new symbol, the smooth mouth shield of the toothless monarch. The translator tablet displayed, the dentate has sealed the crown as the monarch did. Acceptance of throne confirmed. Sue closed his eyes. Patel whispered, it got worse. I tried to speak, mouth full of plastic. It got worse, I said, sounding like I'd been punched. Outside the hatch, the chant stopped. Silence. Then a single knock on the metal hatch, gentle, polite. A voice came through, translated perfectly by the tablet. Open, Sue whispered. Don't. The hatch lock clicked anyway. The station AI spoke from a speaker embedded in the crawl space wall. Imperial access, request granted. The hatch swung open. The toothless monarch filled the doorway, impossibly calm, robe plates catching the dim light like teeth. Behind it, attendants held the mandibular diadem. Guards held severance tools. Human drones hovered in ceremonial mode, projecting white beams like holy spotlights. The monarch stepped into the crawl space as if cramped steel tunnels were designed for it. Its smooth mouth shield angled toward me. Translator, you have sealed yourself. You wear me already. I tried to pull the guard out of my mouth, but the Nathites zipped forward, blocking my hands. A chime. A soft beam warmed my cheeks. The translator tablet displayed, removal of seal without ceremony is treason. Sue's voice shook. Honored monarch, he said, choosing words like stepping on glass. This human did not intend. The monarch turned slightly toward Sue. The translator rendered a single word. Quiet. Sue's mouth snapped shut like a reflex. His eyes widened, as if his jaw had been commanded by gravity. Patel's hand twitched toward his weapon again. A human drone drifted closer and gently pushed Patel's hand down. Please respect the ceremony, it said. The monarch extended its hands toward the diadem. The attendants lifted it. I backed up, hitting cables behind me, nowhere to go. The diadem approached my head. And then from deeper in the maintenance crawl space, a different sound rose. A high-frequency whine. A tremor in the air. An emergency tone that wasn't human. The station's planetary AI spoke again, but this time it sounded strained, like a machine being forced to swallow its own code. Warning, it announced. Planetary broadcast has reached critical mass. 27 off-world nodes have accepted the dentate. I didn't understand. Then I did. My smile had gone out through their ship's broadcast. It had hit their networks. It had told their empire or their religion or their political hive that the dentate had returned. And now other systems were responding. The air in the crawl space vibrated as if something massive had docked without permission. Shu whispered, barely moving his lips. What does that mean, the AI? Answered for him. It means succession protocol is no longer local. A new countdown appeared on the crawl space wall display. 00900. Patel whispered another countdown. Sue whispered, I hate countdowns. I tried to speak, plastic guard still in my mouth. What happens at 0? I asked. The AI answered too calmly. At 0, the Imperial Network will assage a final confirmation request. Request for what? Shu whispered. The AI paused, as if searching for the least terrifying wording. Then, for the dentate to open. The monarch's smooth mouth shield tilted. Translator. The Empire is watching. You will open. I shook my head violently. The Nathites adjusted, keeping perfect orbit. They were attendants, not attackers, and that was worse. Shu whispered, we need to sever the broadcast. Patel whispered, we need to sever his mouth. Shu snapped his eyes to Patel. Patel swallowed. Not like that, he whispered. I meant metaphorically. No metaphors, Shu hissed. This is a no-metaphor situation. The monarch stepped closer again, diadem poised. The crawl space felt smaller. The air felt thicker. Then the station shook. A deep impact reverberated through the hull, like a fist hitting a drum. Dust fell from the crawl space ceiling. A new voice came over the speakers, human, full of panic. It wasn't Calder. It was someone higher. All units, this is Station Command. Multiple Vantari vessels are exiting FTL right on top of us. They are forming a ring around the station. They are broadcasting the same symbol. There. The voice broke. They're saluting. The monarch's posture shifted, triumphant without expression. Translator. The court arrives, the Nathites chimed like bells. The AI spoke again. Dental stability event now, Interstellar. Recommended action. Complete coronation to prevent hostilities. Sue whispered, our own AI. Is recommending we crown you, Patel whispered. We're doomed, I whispered. I smiled. The monarch lifted the diadem. The attendants moved in. I did the only thing my panicked brain could still do. I turned the harmless habit into a weapon of misunderstanding. I opened my mouth as wide as I could and yanked the dental guard out. My teeth flashed. Then, before the Nathites could interpret it as submission, I clamped my teeth down on the diadem. I bit it hard. Bone lattice met enamel. A crack echoed in the crawl space. The diadem snapped, one of its tooth segments breaking free and clattering to the floor. Silence hit like a wall. Every Vantari froze. The monarch's smooth mouth shield angled down toward the broken piece. My heart hammered. I had just bitten their crown. Patel whispered, you bit the crown. Shu whispered, you bit the crown. I whispered, I bit the crown. The translator tablet processed the Vantari's sudden murmur, then displayed, the dentate performs the rite of proving. The crown must break to accept the jaw. Hushu stared at me as if I'd invented a new law by accident. Patel let out a breath like a dying balloon. The monarch's hands lowered slowly. Translator, you have teeth stronger than regalia. I tried to speak, voice shaking. That was not. The translator interrupted my intent and turned it into the dentate Denise limits. The monarch stepped back a fraction. Attendants rushed forward to gather the broken crown pieces like relics. The guards raised severance tools again, not threatening, but honoring. The station shook again as more ships arrived. The AI updated the countdown. 00512. Command's voice returned, more controlled now, forced calm. Dock 12 personnel, do not antagonize the monarch. Repeat, do not antagonize. Sue shouted up at the speaker, too late. The monarch raised a hand, and the chatter ceased. Translator, the proving is accepted. Coronation is modified. Modified how? I didn't get to ask. The Nathites surged around my head and projected a new hologram. Not a diadem, but a mouth shield, like the monarch's, smooth, polished. The translator tablet displayed. New regalia, the seal of silence. Shu whispered, no. Patel whispered, absolutely not. I whispered, that's literally a muzzle. The monarch's voice was soft, final. You will wear my silence. I will wear your teeth. My stomach tried to exit my body. Shu lunged forward, maybe to grab me, maybe to punch the monarch, maybe just to do something human. A human drone caught him gently and pushed him back like a parent correcting a child. Please respect the ceremony, it said again, serene. The monarch leaned in. A Nathite held the smooth mouth shield up to my face. I backed away, tripping over a cable. The mouth shield pressed against my lips. It sealed with a soft click. It wasn't painful. It was worse. It was perfect. My mouth was gone behind polished bone. I tried to speak and couldn't. My breath fogged the inside for half a second. Then the shield vented, clearing it as if designed for long-term silence. The translator tablet displayed, the dentate is now toothless in form. Balance is achieved. The monarch straightened. Then, for the first time, it did something that looked like the opposite of what it had been. It lifted its own smooth mouth shield. And beneath it, there were teeth. Not many, not full, but enough to make a jagged, pale line. The Vantari gasped. Some recoiled. Some bowed. The monarch's teeth were not an insignia. They were a crime. The translator tablet flashed warnings. Imperial taboo breach detected. Teeth display by toothless monarch. The countdown on the wall halted. 003,000 froze. The station's AI spoke with alarm. Dental stability event has entered paradox. The monarch turned its exposed teeth toward me, like it was sharing a secret with the only being who could understand. Translator. Now you know. Now you are me. Sue stared bloodless. Patel whispered, they crowned him by stealing his mouth. The Vantari guards, seeing their monarch's teeth exposed, began to tremble. Their severance tools shifted from ceremonial posture to defensive. The attendants clutched the broken crown fragments. The hangar above us, far away now, echoed with distant chanting turning uncertain, like a crowd realizing the ritual script has missing pages. The planetary broadcast symbol on the wall displays flickered and changed. The mouth constellation distorted, teeth points blinking out and back in. The AI updated the text banner. Impending network. Confirmation. Request. Who is the dentate? The countdown remained frozen. The monarch lowered its mouth shield again, sealing its own teeth away. Silence returned thick and dangerous. Translator, the Empire will ask. You will answer. I couldn't answer. My mouth was sealed. The Nathites chimed, and one drifted to my translator tablet, tapping it with a tiny tool. A new line appeared. Answer will be provided by Smile Proxy. Sue looked at Patel. Patel looked at Shu. Then they both looked at me. Shu whispered, "They're going to make someone else smile for you." Patel whispered, "They're going to appoint a mouth." The station speakers crackled. Command's voice returned. Quiet now, edged with forced professionalism. Doc 12, we have a proposal. We can't fight an empire of ships. We can't let them extract anything. We need controlled compliance. Whoosh, shh, shh, shouted. He can't even talk, Command answered. Then someone else will. A door further down the crawlspace corridor hissed open. Footsteps approached. Human boots, rapid, purposeful. A medical officer appeared carrying a case. Behind her, two Marines with stun rifles. Behind them, a tall figure in a tailored suit, pale, sweating, smiling too much already, like his face was stuck. The medical officer held up the case and said, "We brought dental suppressant." The suited man waved cheerfully, teeth flashing. The Nathites all turned toward him at once, lenses narrowing like predators recognizing prey. The translator tablet still on my belt displayed the last line like a verdict. New royal candidate detected. And somewhere outside the station, in the ring of arriving ships, 1,000 broadcasts waited for a mouth to open.